EBW, number one thing you can't do. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Today is day 1,835 of What You Up To Now, documenting the journey as I transitioned originally in 2017 from the brick and mortar corporate world of businesses to the online world of business. And I've talked a lot about the different businesses I've been involved in, and we'll continue to. If you've got any questions about that, hit me up. We're a quarter century in corporate America, primarily in the upper management quality function, meaning I got to stick my nose in everybody's business when it came to processes, systems, procedures, documentation, all of the things that make our businesses run automatically, make them consistent, make it possible to bring different people in and out, to promote people, to move people around, etc. Actually, just to grow and build and supersize our businesses. Now this year, I'm doing an annual challenge called the Get Your Goals Annual Challenge. Thank you to Chad Hanna for suggesting the topic for me. So we're focusing on goals all this year. Last month, we talked about different goal frameworks. We came up with our own goal framework that we're going to test out throughout the next 9 months or so. And we're going to start out by testing it this month on our emotional well-being. There's 9, I love this cup, I got it from my sister. There's 9 different areas and aspects of our life that I use in the framework that I use. You might have no framework that you use for thinking about your life or planning out your life, but it was 7 until 2021 when I added 2 more areas, communication and confidence. Why? Because I think they're core and foundational, and I think there's one of those things that impacts every other area of our life. There's lots of things that impact every area of our life, right? Think of core values, what's important to us, our beliefs, our thoughts, our feelings. And we're going to talk about each of those each month as we go throughout the challenge. Well, today I called our topic EWB's number 1 foundational thing, and that is self-love. So I shared 13 different steps to self-love, or ways that we could show ourselves self-love, and there's lots and lots of different lists on this. I actually yesterday did something fun. I've been playing with Chat GPT, and I kind of feel like it's a cheat or a cheat code, which I don't believe in. I believe in figuring things out myself, but sometimes it makes more sense for us to see what other resources are available and what they have to say about things. And I've been trying to get myself to plan out all 365 days of this year's annual challenge ahead of time. Well, I usually kind of do it on the fly, which is okay, but some days it stresses me out because I wake up and I've only done a little bit of prep work for my content creation, and I like to be a little more prepared than that. So yesterday I sat down, and in under an hour I mapped out 365 topics for this year's challenge. And I did a couple extra because I wanted to go back over last month. Well, what if I was just talking about goals? And then I did emotions, I did mental, physical, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution, confidence, communication. And I asked it for 35 topics in each of these areas. Now, I may or may not follow what it came up with. I saved it on my computer. I haven't looked at it yet in detail because today I was already going to talk about self-love and the importance of self-love, because with respect to our emotional well-being, it is foundational. And there's things that I don't think GPT came up with, the AI, that I know I want to talk about, like our emotional guidance system and emotional intelligence, things like that I think are critical that we start to think about. We might not do a whole lot with them, but we want to at least get our subconscious starting to work on some of these things so that we can continue to improve and evolve and be a better human being, right? And as much as we don't like to admit it, our emotions, we are emotional beings, through and through. We react immediately emotionally, and then we justify our emotional response with thoughts and beliefs and feelings and evidence that will let our subconscious feed up to us to justify however we feel or however we reacted in any situation. But our feelings are like the first early warning signs of whether something is right for us or not. And so we want to tune into those feelings and emotions. That's why we've got these 5 or 6 senses. It's why we've got our senses, because they help to, first and foremost, keep us safe. And our idiom for today, to kind of coincide with this, was you can't pour from an empty cup. Thus, my awesome I Love Grandma mug that happens to match my sweater today. And it's empty because I wanted to illustrate you cannot pour out of a cup if there's nothing in it. And so we talked about, and I felt like it was kind of convoluted. It could be because I've got a headache and a head cold, and I'm like today, but we talked about leadership and role models and coaches, and that we have to have skills and abilities and model and demonstrate what we want to see and create in our organizations if we expect those things to actually be a part of the business that we're growing and building and supersizing. I don't know about you, but I've definitely worked in organizations where the upper management, the C-level suite of people said one thing and expected everyone in the organization to follow it, but they did just the opposite. You see that in politics and the media all the time, right? We see people saying, do as I say, not as I do, and then they get caught in it and they still lie about it. So we want to make sure we're not modeling things like that. We want to be consistent. We want to remember to take breaks and time off and recharge our batteries so that we have more to give to the business that we're growing and building and supersizing and creating to make the world a better place. So those are a couple of pieces of content I created today. Again, I popped into the chat GPT and I said, hey, give me some idioms about emotions. Give me some idioms about mental well-being and thoughts. And I got a big list. And then I did one on goals because it's fun. It's fun to see what chat GPT comes up with. Now, as I look through the list of emotional well-being idioms, I've already covered all of those, but it doesn't mean I won't cover them again.